I spent over a decade of my life living in a cage of social anxiety. And then, even when I broke out of that, I discovered that there was still more holding me back. Even though I was out of the worst of it, social anxiety has so many layers to it, so many ways that it can affect us and ultimately prevent us from being ourselves, comfortably, confidently, authentically you in the world. And that's something that took me another 5 years to break out of. So this is something that I lived through and through. When I was a young kid, I tended to be more shy, a little more sensitive, but that doesn't necessarily mean social anxiety, right? That just means I'm a little more introverted, a little more sensitive. But when I reached middle school, and that's around the age of 11, that is when it started to kick into full gear. And this is extremely common from almost everyone I talk to. It's usually middle school, high school, 11 to 15 range is when it starts to build. And it's this growing sense I felt of, I'm different, there's something wrong with me. I would be constantly comparing myself to other kids in school and imagining that they were better than me. And it didn't feel like imagining at the time. It felt true. Like, no, this person is better than me. They're better looking. They're more athletic. They're smarter. They're more popular. They're funnier. They're more outgoing. They're more confident. And I had this growing catalog that I would be going through in my mind every day about why I was inferior. And I started to bring that with me everywhere I went. So even in new situations with new people where they didn't know me, I would show up as the same old me, which is like, who's going to want to talk to me? So I had this big limitation in how I saw myself. I wasn't that interesting. I wasn't worth talking to. Of course, that affected my social life, my friendships. My ability to speak up in group settings was non-existent. I would kind of hang back, be quiet, be more on the outside. And then on top of that, you can imagine it's going to affect my dating life. In fact, I didn't really have much of a dating life for my entire teenage years, really, and was not able to approach anyone I found attractive. I would hope and wish and wait that she would come to me. I mean, I lived in the world of fantasy. And this is just to show you how sad it really was. I remember when I was in high school, I'd be in my bedroom and I'd have this fantasy of some girls that I was into in high school. They would just be like hanging out together and they'd show up at my house and be like, Aziz, you're so cool. We want to hang out with you. And I'd literally imagine like them knocking on the window of my room. And that never happened. And it also showed that I didn't understand how to make these connections because I was scared. I had all these ideas about how I wasn't enough, and I was scared to start putting myself out there. I was certain I was going to get rejected. And this started to affect me in every area of life. And it really got to a low point where I was just going to school, going to work, going home, playing video games. I had one close friend, two friends that I hung out with. And other than that, my life was extremely small, extremely restricted. And it was, pot, video games, TV, and work and school. And tons of moments of like, oh, I wish I could go do that. I wish I could talk to that person. Living in wishing. You know what it was like? It was like life was passing me by, and I was just kind of on the bleachers, on the sidelines. And it felt like that's how it was. Like, this is how it is. This is how I am. And might be something that you're living in right now. Like, this is just how I am. This discomfort talking to people, this fear of putting myself out there, this niceness that's holding me back. This is just how I am. I've been this way for so many years. This is who I am. And that's what I believed until something profound changed in me forever. And it came at the highest point of pain, which was I'd finally worked up the courage to ask a woman out. And she said yes. This had happened maybe 2 or 3 times in my entire life at this point. And we went on a date, and I thought it went great. And then I followed up with her a couple days later, and she turned very cold and distant and seemed to want nothing to do with me. And I had no idea why. I thought I was being myself. I thought I was being charming. I thought I was being funny. I thought I was being interesting. And she still didn't want to go out with me. So my mind's like, you see, even when you're trying to put yourself out there, it's not going to work. And I'm already feeling terrible about myself. And then I get home to my apartment, and it's dark. I think no one's there. I have a roommate at the time, but I think he's not there. So I go into my room. I got myself a little bowl of pasta that I made. I used to eat the same like ragu sauce on pasta every day. Yeah. And I'm in the room by myself, and I hear the sound of laughter. this piercing, high-pitched, like, ah, ha, 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 ha. And then I hear my roommate's voice through the wall, and I realize, oh, he's home. He's with his girlfriend. He generally has girlfriends. I don't. And it was just like another layer of pain, like, not only am I'm never going to have this, and then he's got it, And I was going to go play more video games, but something like, thank God, got woken up in me that day and was like, I got to do something about this. I will not stand for this anymore. It's what I call a threshold moment. And if you're watching this video, and if you're coming across my materials, you might be at your own threshold moment. And that happens, it could be due to dating and relationship. It could be a marriage ends. It could be someone wants to leave you. It could be yet another failed dating attempt, or yet another opportunity where you wanted to go approach someone and you didn't, and you've been holding yourself back for 5 years, and now you look on social media and you see someone that you used to date is now married. And you're just like, what am I doing? Life is passing me by. Or maybe you get some feedback at work, and they're like, look, you know your job well, but you're not presenting well. You're not a leader. You're not confident. And it's like a slap in the face. Or you just know it. No one's told you it, but you feel it. You're holding yourself back. You're hesitant. You're doubtful. You're tense inside every day at meetings. You're reaching some threshold moment if you're watching me. And it feels the worst, but it's actually the best thing that can happen to you. Because in that moment, I started to look for solutions. Now, I was 20, 21 years old, something like that, and it was like, I want a girlfriend. So it was basic, like, how do I get confident enough to meet women? But what I soon realized is my issue wasn't just dating, my issue was confidence. And so from that moment, my obsession became confidence. How do I build my confidence? And that's what led me to the most profound discovery of my life, which is this: you can learn confidence. Confidence is a skill. Confidence is not something you're just born with, you just have. That's what I thought. That's what you might think. That's what we subconsciously think. It's like a fixed mindset. You either have it or you don't. But the truth is, confidence is malleable. Confidence is a skill. An even better analogy is confidence is a muscle, and you can build it. There are specific things that you can do. And if you haven't already got my ebook on the homepage, go get that. You can download my free ebook, 5 Steps to Unleash Your Inner Confidence. And I'll teach you the 5 core things to do to build the muscle of confidence. And here's the coolest thing about it. You can build the muscle to get out of the pit that you're in. If you're in a low point in some area of your life, you can use that to grow out of that and improve that area of your life. But then you can use the exact same principles, the exact same building of the muscle to get to higher and higher, to extraordinary levels of confidence in every single area of your life. And that is what excited me the most. So I started to study this stuff like crazy. I got obsessed with it, and I really was willing to do whatever it took. So part of building confidence, one of the essential components is do what scares you. You have to be willing to take action. The confidence that you seek is going to be the byproduct of the actions that you take. And I was ready and willing to do the actions because I had lived so many years in pain. I was like, well, even if that person rejects me, it can't feel worse than how I felt for so many years. So I was willing to take those actions, and I started to have success. And I started to notice a change in my dating life, notice a change in the way that I carried myself, and a change in the way that women responded to me. And that was really fun and exciting. But you know what was even more fascinating? I realized that I started to relate to men differently. I started to relate to women of all ages, and even women I wasn't dating or attracted to, just all humans. I started to relate differently to them. I started to challenge the story that there's something wrong with me and I'm less than, and I started to feel more and more confident, more and more better about myself, more and more able to approach people. And then I realized, starting conversations, that's a skill, I can learn it. Learning how to speak up in groups, that's a skill, I can learn it. Telling interesting stories, that's a skill, I can learn it. How to approach women I'm attracted to, how to do public speaking. I became obsessed with putting myself out there and learning how to do public speaking because I was so scared of it for so many years. And then it just kept on going from there, because even though I got some breakthrough and success with dating and conversation confidence, there was a whole nother layer of social anxiety that I didn't realize. And that's what I talk about in my 3rd book, which is Not Nice. So you might not be like, oh, I'm so scared to talk to people, but you might be living in a different kind of cage, which is a cage of niceness. And that was the next cage I had to break out of, where that's where you can talk to people and you can date and you can interact, but everything you're doing deep down is still coming from fear. Fear of, like, I don't want to upset you. I can't handle if you have negative feelings in the moment. I got to make sure everybody likes me. I got to people please. I got to do approval seeking. And so while I learned to be a bit more bold, I still was playing that pattern out. And what that led to is like an inability. I couldn't have romantic relationships. I could date, but as soon as we started to go deep, I would get weird. I'd freak out. I'd get anxious. I'd feel trapped because I had no boundaries. I couldn't say no. I couldn't ask for what I want. I was totally disconnected from myself. And then when it came into the work and business environment, putting myself out there, claiming this is what I can offer, having a professional confidence, sales, oh my God, there was so much fear and niceness around that. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want anyone to dislike anything I do. I don't want people to dislike the material I put out there. I don't want people to dislike my books. I don't want people to dislike me for trying to offer or sell something in the world. And so when I came up against those obstacles, I realized back to the drawing board, I have to learn more confidence. And guess what? I did. And all of a sudden, the same thing, you can break through to the next level and become more and more and more you. As you grow in your confidence, you become more authentically yourself, more boldly yourself, more unapologetically yourself. And that feels amazing. You're no longer afraid of walking around, what are people going to think of me? And if someone is upset with me, it's like, okay. And it doesn't affect you in the same way. You are solid in yourself. And it feels really good. And I've been on this journey now for 16 years, and I'm not stopping. I am continually looking at what is the next edge. What is it that my mind says is impossible? Oh, you can't do that. And I move towards it. So my mind says, oh, you can't reach more people and have a bigger impact in the world. I'm like, I'm going to do that. Oh, you can't. I had so many limitations about my body. I used to think my body was broken. Oh, you can't use your body. You're going to get injured. You have an autoimmune condition. You're weak. All these things I used to think about myself. And now I'm like, you know what? I want to run. I want to run marathons. I want to run ultra marathons. I want to see what I can do with this machine. And it feels amazing. So now with confidence, with the ability to learn confidence that I can teach you, that you can start doing right now, you can go from wherever you are to break through, to getting some control in that area, to go to the highest levels of success, fulfillment, joy, and freedom in whatever area of your life that you want. Your social life, your dating life, your romantic relationship, your career, starting a business, wherever it is that you want confidence, you can learn it. And I can't wait to be a part of showing you how, sharing everything I've got, everything I've learned over these years that can help you accelerate on your path to a life of total confidence. So check out more on the website to find out more. You can find out on the YouTube channel. Tons of videos there about teaching you exactly the skill of confidence. My podcast, we go deeper. It's called Shrink for the Shy Guy. You can find that on the page as well. And again, of course, if you haven't gotten the ebook, download that now and get started. 5 Steps to Unleash Your Inner Confidence. And of course, if you want to go even further, check out Confidence University, the most compact, in-depth confidence training in the world to help you break through. It's like the most systematized, action step-oriented program that you can go through. It's going to produce results in your confidence. And then a live event. There's so many ways that we can go further and connect. But wherever you are, remember this. You can learn confidence, and you are learning confidence, and you got this. Until we speak again, may you have the courage to be who you are and to know on a deep level that you're awesome.